Hello, everybody, and today for Halloween and for the month of October, we are reviewing the Cleveland Show Halloween special. It's called It's a Great Pancake, Cleveland Brown. So, this episode is where it's more about Cleveland Jr., and it opens with him putting on his costume, and what is he dressed like? A pancake. And he's looking at his reflection as it reminds him of the time he dressed up in Quahog, and we get this funny flashback of Cleveland Jr. dressed as this celebrity. I forget the name, but guess who's there? Herbert the Pervert. And the less we talk about him, the better. This scene is funny where he says trick or treat, and he gets the candy, and then Herbert's like, take one, take two, take three, that's enough. Happy Halloween. And then Herbert goes crazy, of course. But as Cleveland Jr. is ready for Halloween, Cleveland Brown himself is trying to scare Rolo through his scary stories. He says boo, and then Rolo just punches him in the balls. And then Cleveland's ready for Halloween and Jr., but they're all dressed up. But Cleveland's not letting Jr. go trick-or-treating because he says he's too old. But he says him and Donna are allowed because they're the parents, and Roberta because she's a girl, and Rolo because he's a little kid, and then he just punches him again. But I do like what they're dressed. Cleveland and Donna are dressed like. I'll just go over what they're dressed like. I think Cleveland's a baseball player for the Pirates. Donna's just in a wedding gown. Rolo's a sheep, and Roberta 18 plus stuff. Okay, but Cleveland Jr. is very bummed he can't go trick or treating, and even Cleveland's like, "You're 14 years old." But Cleveland Jr. tried to convince him, but he says no and tells him to pass out candy. And it's a huge bummer for Jr. But Cleveland Jr. decides to pass out candy, and he bumps into a Harry Potter kid. But once this happens, Cleveland Jr. decides he's going to go trick-or-treating anyway. He puts his costume back on, but he is jumped by a bunch of teenagers, and they throw eggs at him. And they throw toilet paper at the house. And then when Cleveland and the family get home after trick-or-treating, Cleveland's disappointed in Jr. and saying he needs to grow up. And so that's what Cleveland Jr. does. He puts all his toys away in his room, and he has to say goodbye to his little mini oven he had, and Larry the leopard. He even cries. But while that's all going on, Rolo is having a subplot of his own. Because during trick-or-treating, Donna told Rolo to not eat any candy, but he does anyway. He decides to morph it into a giant ball, and he just eats it. And it's so gross, but he ends up losing one of his teeth. And this is kind of the whole subplot for Rolo. It's just like he's trying to hide it from his mom because he doesn't want her mad at him for eating too much candy. But while this is going on, Cleveland decides to change Jr. And he puts on different clothes. He's got his sunglasses, a yellow shirt, jacket, hat. And he is now a new person. And he decides he's going to hang out with the popular crowd after eating dinner. And Roberta was going to go to the party. And Cleveland Jr. decides to go as well. And so Cleveland decides to spy on Jr. to see how it goes. But unfortunately, it does not go well, as Cleveland witnesses Jr. get bullied by the same bullies anyway. And Cleveland Jr. doesn't realize he's getting bullied. And Cleveland tells Donna, and then she's like telling Cleveland that he needs to snap out of it and let Cleveland Jr. express himself however he likes. And he even sees like an old version of himself, that scene was funny. But Cleveland decides he made a mistake, and so he decides to let Cleveland Jr. be in his Halloween costume. But as for Rolo, he tries to call a sports podcast to fix whatever issue he's having. He's having like a big stomach issue because he ate so much candy, and he decides to just hide it under his pillow. But that subplot ends with when he screams, and then Donna comes in, and he finds a quarter, and then he confesses what he did, and then Donna says, like, oh, that you just got a tooth knocked out for the tooth fairy, and then he's wondering what that is. And then and then I think his subplot's over. But while that's all going on, Cleveland got all his friends to dress up as various breakfast accessories. We got Lester as eggs and ham, pretty sure, but his wife wants to eat him because he's an egg. We got Holt as toast. Cleveland Jr.'s back as the pancake. Cleveland is bacon, and Tim the bear is, I think, honey. And so they decide they're going to go trick-or-treating, even though it's already over, and they are going to throw eggs at the teenager's house. And that's what they do. They gather their eggs, and they just squash a bunch of eggs all over him in his house, and he gets his karma, and they all walk away. And Cleveland tells Junior that he's probably going to get bullied the next day. But the two have their father-son moment, and that's the episode. So, this episode was a pretty decent Halloween episode. It kind of gave, I guess, Cleveland a little mini arc of Cleveland Jr. It's wild that we kind of would expect to see a plot like this, even though Cleveland Jr. does go through a new phase, and he even cries over when he loses Larry, the leopard, but he does get him back, and Cleveland Jr. is back to his old self, and it shows that it teaches Cleveland to accept his son for who he is. But that was a nice Halloween episode. Probably my only issue with this episode, I don't know, maybe it kind of stopped feeling like a Halloween episode. But the next few Halloween episodes are definitely a lot better than this one for sure. Maybe we'll review that next year. But I'll probably review this with Little Blue on his channel, and we can maybe go in a lot more depth with this episode if we do review it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.